when I first got here 8 years ago, Nancy and I had this conversation about, is the Big East the right league for us? 8 years ago. And when I first came in here, it was 16 teams. The BC and those guys had just left, maybe a year before I got here. And we had picked up all these other teams from Conference USA, including Louisville, South Florida, Cincinnati. And we were convinced that maybe the Big Ten was a better fit than the Big East. And that was just in conversation. And as time went on, we kind of were looking at the landscape of the leagues and all those types of things. The next thing you know, things start changing. And I will remember going into that first Big East meeting and folks saying that I'm not sure if this can last. And Mike Tranghese was the commissioner at the time. He said, I don't know if this is going to work, but we sure got to take a shot at it. And I said, why would it work? I mean, we got 16 people around the table. Everyone was getting along. Their basketball schools, their basketball, football schools seemed to work fabulous. You know, we're in great markets. DePaul was in Chicago, Georgetown was in D.C., got New York market, got Philadelphia. We had everything. We had half of the country. And we really thought it would work. And then the Big Ten started that whole movement, the shot board around the world. And that's when the Continental Drift started. And so then we actually got contacted by the Big Ten secretly and had some secret meetings just to kind of fill out each other and all those type of things. And then when we got back from that, we really checked out and we said, if we ever had to make a move, really, what is the right conference for us? So we kind of did our homework 2 years before everything happened, and we were totally convinced that the ACC was the right situation for us. School-wise, institutional academic fit, sport-wise, common interests, travel, same time zone, and all those type of things. So, 2 years go by, and so when we went to make the move to go into the ACC, it was already set up. We had, I think our trustee meeting was 15-minute presentation and a 30-second vote, and a 5-second second, and we were done. And so moving in there now, we had been working like mad to kind of, when we're in the Big East, assuming we're going to be there forever, how can we compete for national championships across the board? That was our first goal. And we got rid of Tier 1 and Tier 2 sports, made everything Tier 1, put a lot of energy into bringing in amazing head coaches, and started competing at the highest level. And we've had our best history in the history of the program, you can say history twice, and we scored the most points in this Directors' Cup against all of our other colleagues across the country, so we moved all the way up to 50. This year, we're so far ahead of that pace, so 4 of our last 5 years have been the best we've ever had. This year, we're going to shatter that.
That's the width of all the sports programs.
Across the board.
Everybody looks at basketball and football as how you analyze how well a program's doing, but you look at it, and many people look at it, as all of your sports teams.
Right. It's just like institutions. When they look at U.S. World News and Report, who's got the top, 50 institutions. Well, my thing was, hey, let's be at least equal to what the university is. The university is great. If you're in the top 50 and top 60 schools in the country, that's pretty good. And so Syracuse is one of those, and I said we should be up there in athletics as well. We should be parallel. Now we passed the school, and we feel like we can get to 35. We feel like we can get to 30. So now we're moving into the ACC, and we'll have more resources to work with as we go on in the future. And we've been doing more with less and having very effective results. If we were in the ACC right now, we would be out of the 14 schools, we would be like 6 or 7 across the board. We want to be 3 or 4, up in that range. So we still have some more work to do. So that's why we're adding more facilities. We're enhancing football. We've got all of our head coaches done. We've got brilliant head coaches at this school. I'll put these head coaches up against anybody in the country. So we're prepared with people. Now we've just got to keep recruiting, and we've got to get our structures together